Welcome back to Sunrise. Now, our very special guest this morning is Ivanah Thomas, MD, who is also a dynamic speaker, a UN advocate on women's issues and a perimenopause specialist. Dr. Ivanah Thomas is a founder of NoPause Health Solutions, offering science-backed supplements to support women through the perimenopause journey. And she's here with us this morning, along with Joseth Brown, NoPause Health Solutions advocate, to help us, understand the symptoms, impacts, and NoPause Health Solutions. Welcome to Sunrise, ladies. Thank you so much for being here.
Welcome to Sunrise.
I'm very excited about this topic, as you guys can already tell.
Yes.
Because I feel like we've been talking about menopause for a long time, but perimenopause is something that's just come into view, I feel like, in the last couple of years.
Yes.
And so I just want to start there. What's the difference between perimenopause and menopause?
All right. So menopause is the cessation of your period after you've had no period for 12 consecutive months. So no menses for 12 months straight, and officially you are at menopause.
Right.
Perimenopause is that long journey before you get to menopause. So for lots of women, it can actually start from in your 30s. So, and for some strange reason, it seems like women are going into perimenopause earlier than before, because usually it would be early 40s, until around 51-ish when you're going into menopause officially. But a lot of women are experiencing perimenopause much earlier. So it is that journey between where the hormonal imbalance starts. You start noticing fluctuations in your periods. If you have like a regular 28-day cycle, it start being 27 days, then 26, then 25, then 24, and also, skipping to coming very heavy, then very light, just being real erratic.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we have the dreadful symptoms of perimenopause. The biggest one, the highest percentage, is what we call the mood symptoms. And that's, for example, brain fog. You are, having mood changes, very irritable quickly.
I really hope Wayne is watching.
For no reason at all. It's not like someone or something have to, set you off.
Yeah.
You just become, and it's because of the changes in your hormones.
Yeah.
So it's going up and down, fluctuating, and so is your mood. Not sleeping, so we call that insomnia. So not sleeping well at night, getting the night sweats. It's very, very real. I have spoken to many women who've actually become suicidal with these mood symptoms because they're suffering and they're struggling. Nobody's talking about it. They think they're crazy. And by the way, a lot of GPs have no idea because it was not something that we were taught in medical school.
Wow.
So when I got done with medical school, I had to go do a whole certification program in premature ovarian insufficiency, perimenopause, and menopause. Because I was in the throes of it and I couldn't find a solution. And I'm like, I need to find a solution.
So, and for a long time we called it menopause. And so it felt like it was, but really what you just explained menopause to be is something completely different to what perimenopause is. And I've even read where, as you said, it could happen, it can take 10 years.
Exactly, and beyond. The average is 4, but it can take up to 10 years and beyond. And then once you get to menopause, some of these symptoms, unfortunately, still persist for a while.
I'm happy to be a part of the conversation because men, husbands particularly, need to pay attention so we can understand. Joseth, let me ask you, because, school me. What should I look out for? How can I prepare to support her during this period?
All right, so let me first start by telling you what happened to me. So I was having difficulty falling asleep. When I fall asleep, my sleep is disturbed. Many times throughout the night, I wake up tired. You have that lethargic feeling throughout the day. I had trouble focusing, right? And this terrible mood swings, like, I would fight breeze. And I noticed that my period was not, so every 6 days is something that, I mean, I can plan for it because I know it's coming every 26 days. And then I realize changes in the flow, the length, and just, you know, not the same.
Erratic.
And my body starts feeling different. So I went to my doctor, and I had a conversation with a friend, Shelly-Ann. You guys know Shelly-Ann Weeks. So I was talking to her, and she said, girl, it's perimenopause. I'm like, what is that? So she's saying, it's the time before you actually get into menopause. And she started telling me some research that she did. So I went on the internet, and I started looking it up. So I went to my doctor, and I said, I'm going through perimenopause. He said, how old are you? He said, no. I said, what do you mean? These are the symptoms I'm having. This is what's happening to me. And I went like 2 other times. And he's telling me no. Then I met Dr. Ivanah. And I was saying to her, these are the symptoms I'm having. Listen, I hardly cook. I walk from my kitchen, take off all of my clothes, and go straight into the shower because I can't deal with the heat.
Yes.
And the hot flashes, I mean, I have to think when I'm going somewhere. Like, if AC is going to be there, what am I going to wear? Because I have to try to dress to facilitate this private summer that is going on. And so she introduced me to the product. Maybe I'm jumping ahead, but she did. I had to call her and send her a voice note. She was not even here. I said, look here, I sleep all night. I wake up in the morning and I don't even feel like how you feel when you take sleeping aid. Not only that, but chill. You see this mood thing, this anxiety and this, you're all over the place. I'm just chill. And I'm like, I said, bring some more for me.
Bring some for me there.
I have to ask this for the men who are watching, what's the impact on libido? Well, is there an impact on libido?
Absolutely, and that's also part of the mood symptoms as well. There's a decrease for a lot of women in libido. So,
that's not good news.
It really isn't. And you know, I was in the States the other day and just talking to a group of women. Like, I love my husband, but I just can't stand the thought of him even touching me. I just can't deal with it. It's like, I think if he touches me, I'm just gonna lose it. I can't engage like that.
This
no
is
desire.
perimenopause, not
peri.
So it will stop at menopause. The process to menopause.
The good news is, and I think it is, I'm so glad you're here, because when I was in South Africa and Mozambique the other day, I was at a conference and I started to share my journey and share, what led me to the development of NoPause, the products. The men were so interested, and when I started to list the symptoms, they're like, yes, and they were huge. They're like, and listen, I mean, I think I almost like closed it because everybody were asking questions, and they want to know, how can we get some of this? What can I do to help my wife? Our brothers need to know, because the truth of the matter is that if your honey's not okay, ain't nobody okay.
And your children need to understand. I mean, especially, I feel like this conversation has left men out so much. And it's like, I have 3 sons. They need to know about this because they're one day maybe going to have wives who will go through this as well. I think there's a larger conversation as well about women trusting their bodies, trusting what's happening, not feeling crazy, not being told, you're too young for this to be happening to you. And to maybe have to change doctors until you find somebody who will say, hey, I hear you, and there is help.
But even now, Tammy, if I go someplace and somebody will say, oh, you sweat so, I say, pause. I'm like, come on, Joseth. What do you mean? I'm like, menopause. They say, I understand what you mean, but you're too young. How do you know?
Because we have not been educated. And then I think as it relates to women, there's a psychological thing going on. For us to admit that we're in this season, it means that somehow I'm changing, I'm aging, and no one wants to admit that. However, it's a natural part of life. There are young women that go through this in their 20s because they can have a procedure, you can have their ovaries taken out. If you lose your ovaries, you're thrown into instant menopause. So it's a serious thing, and the men need to understand. Now, I know you're worried. the good news is not every single body goes through all of those symptoms.
Hallelujah.
Oh man, I feel like we could talk about this
We have to pause. We have to pause. But listen. We can't have a discussion about menopause without men. You know?
That's right.
I'm happy to
That's
talk about
right.
it.
There you
Our
go.
guests have been Dr. Ivanah Thomas, perimenopause specialist and founder of NoPause Health Solutions. I want to talk about that product. Yes. And Joseth Brown, NoPause Health Solutions advocate. Next up, Garden Life Group celebrates some top PEP students. Oh, I remember doing PEP. Stay tuned to find out how.
Pause on that.
Stick and stay. Hey, listen.